I don't know about you, Grant, but I'm a curious son of a gun. I've been self-employed my whole life.
100,000 person list in a year
Yeah.
through affiliate partnerships. Everybody wants this, like, well, give me the secret, give me the thing. Thinking, what can I give to this day instead of what can I take from it? What can I give to people instead of what can I take from them?
We really don't sell anything. We solve people's problems. You can create opportunity out of thin air.
If you open up your mind, I think you would be blown away to how many opportunities there are out there like that.
That's the winning recipe there. I mean, if you mess any of those up, I don't know what to do.
What's up, everybody? Grant Wise here. Welcome back to the Partner Profit Podcast, the show where we teach you how to turn your relationships into revenue. And I've got just the man to teach us how to do that today, with Mr. Haas Pratt. Haas, what's up, man? How's it going?
What's up, Grant? It's great to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I am pumped to have you. I'm traveling today, so if everybody's watching this, yes, I'm not in the same location. My lighting's terrible, but I know the conversation is going to be fire, so I'm not too worried about it. Haas, you've been in the business a long time, and you've been crushing it a long time, and I know relationships are a big part of that. But before we dive into all that, for anybody that's listening to this that maybe doesn't know who you are, give us a little bit of the backstory. How'd you get to where you are today?
Yeah, man. My name's Haas Pratt. I am a real estate coach and trainer. Been in the industry for over 20 years. Started off as a real estate agent. I was in my early 20s. Did really well early on in a market I didn't know anybody, and so people wanted to know how I was doing it. You know, how I was taking so many listings, and I started doing local events and trainings and seminars, going to different brokerage offices, and that ended up turning into a career to where almost 20 years later, I've been traveling the country, training and coaching real estate agents how to dominate their markets, focusing on mindset models and taking massive action, and been passionate about it, man. Like real estate agents out there, they need a model to follow. And so what I do is I help guide them, equip them with the model that they need to follow so they have a chance of dominating their markets and doing it as fast as possible. And I've been privileged to work with hundreds of thousands of real estate agents in my career. And that's what I do, Grant. Same thing you do, man. Like we've been doing what we do a long time. We help agents, and likewise, dude. You're one of the smartest people I've ever met in the industry. So people are lucky to be following you and lucky to be here, man. You're a wealth of information.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
I appreciate that very, 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 very much. So how do we do it? How do we take our relationships and turn them into revenue?
So let's take a real estate agent on a foundational level, right? So let's say a real estate agent is listening and they're like, yeah, where do I start? What do I do? A challenge that a lot of agents have, it's the same challenge I had when I got into the business. I didn't know anybody, like, let alone relationships. So I couldn't wait for people to come to me. I had to go to them, right? So there's two types of agents. There's the agent with a database of people that like them, love them, trust them, know them. Then there's the agent that doesn't have a database that is like, where do I start? So there's the Met database and the haven't met database. The Mets are obviously your sphere of influence, past clients and such, partners. The haven't met market is people like, expireds and canceleds and FSBOs and REO and probate and divorcees and downsizers, right? So that agent that doesn't know where to start needs to go after data. So don't think in terms of leads, think in terms of acquiring data, right? Like, there's providers out there that could give you a list of every person that hit your MLS today that expired and all the canceleds. Like that's where you go after. And then over the course of a few years, Grant, what happens is those haven't mets turn into Mets, and their database builds, right? So I think it's important to get it right. If you don't have a database, the biggest mistake you can make is waiting for a database, because relationships, and it takes a minute to cultivate and develop strong relationship.
Yeah. So you walk into the industry and some people know a lot of people, and they're probably going to do well, but some people just don't know very many people. So you need names, email addresses, phone numbers, addresses of people that are likely to buy or sell a house, and you can go out and buy that information. But I think a question that I have is, how do you start a relationship with somebody that maybe doesn't want to talk to you?
That's a good question. Well, you first off have to understand what we do. So think about in real estate, what is it we sell, right? So people be like, Well, we sell houses. You see, I don't think we sell houses. I think houses sell themselves. You know, right? And people say, "Well, we sell ourselves." I'm like, "No, you're a product. No, you're not. You know, you're. I mean, you're not a product. You're not. You're here. You know." So it's important to understand what we do in real estate is we really don't sell anything. We solve people's problems. And so if you can understand that you're a professional problem solver and you go into every conversation, every appointment with the mindset and the identity of being a problem solver, what you're going to do is you're going to ask different questions. You're going to seek different things, right? So think about yourself as a doctor. Like I tell agents, you're a doctor. Let's say you go to see a doctor. The doctor comes in. Number one, who's in control? Who's the authority? You are the doctor. The doctor is in control. The doctor is the authority. And what's the doctor start doing? They start asking you questions to find the pain. And as they identify the pain, they whip out their old prescription pad and they write you a prescription, which is the solution to the problem. So the way you get anybody to take action in real estate is you are a problem solver. You ask questions to seek the problem and you provide solutions to that problem. And if you approach every relationship, bro, they can't help it. It'll make it virtually impossible for people to tell you no. It'll make it impossible for them to hang up on you, to reject you.
Yeah. I've talked to quite a few people on the show because the entire premise of the show is how do we partner with people, how do we get into a relationship with people, and so many people say the same thing: is you just got to go into a relationship and think, what can I give to this person instead of what can I take from this person, and
Yes.
using the philosophy you said, like, how can I identify their problems? And so I guess maybe some of the listeners like, okay, how do I do that? How do I identify their problems? So I just ask a preset list of questions, or how do I get to discover what their problems even are?
It's funny that you asked that because I got this book sitting right next to me. Okay. You know
Yep.
this book?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a
So
good one.
this is a good book. This is go read this book. Okay, would be my
Yep.
advice because we are in the people business, but what we really do is we are in the business of changing the way people feel. In this book, Dale says people forget what you say, they will never forget how you made them feel. And that is a lesson that you can never forget, that your job is to change the way the other person feels. And how you get them to change the way they feel is you start asking them questions. You get them in dialogue. Another obvious lesson is building rapport. And it's like, well, how do you build rapport? You find common ground. So get really good at finding common ground with people would be my advice. Get so good at working with people that you can change the way they feel. Get so good at changing the way people feel that you can identify a problem and prescribe a solution. Like that to me is real estate sales in a couple sentences.
And it doesn't sound like something that you're just an expert at the first day you do it either.
Well, you have to have the
everybody
heart to do it.
everybody wants this, like, well, give me the secret, give me the thing. And I think it, like what you're saying, is like you gotta practice this. You gotta do it. You gotta learn the framework, and then you gotta rinse and repeat over and over and over again. So when you say you gotta have the heart to do, what do you mean?
You got to have the heart to serve. You got to have a heart to help people. You got to have a heart and you have to have a heart of curiosity. So being curious is one of the most important traits that any successful agent could have. I don't know about you, Grant, but I'm a curious son of a gun, dude. Like I'm sitting here
Yeah,
with you. I'm
I'm
like, can
very
we get
curious.
this interview over so I can just talk to you and pick your brain? Like I just want to know more. I want to know what you know, dude. I want to know how you're doing, man. How's life in Arkansas? Like, I just want to know. And like
Yeah, yeah,
that curiosity is something that the great salespeople, the greatest agents, the greatest partners have is they have a burning desire to want to know more and they're curious. And I think anytime you miss that and you're not curious, it puts you in the wrong direction to build a relationship.
yeah.
People care about themselves, their time, and their money, and your job is to find them to find out what you can do to save them time and money.
100%. I've always said that I felt like people sell from their pocketbook. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people in real estate don't have money. And so they're constantly selling from a place of insecurity, from lack, from scarcity. And it's very difficult. I empathize with those
Yeah.
people. It's very difficult to flip the switch and all of a sudden communicate from a place of abundance, from a place of, genuine care and interest because you got bills to pay. But I don't think it's that complicated. One of my the question I ask everybody I talk to is, how's business?
Yeah.
It is a universal question that applies to every single person I talk to, and everybody says one of two things: it could be better, or it's amazing.
Yeah.
And so my follow-up questions are, what's making it so good?
Yeah.
Or what do you think could make it better?
Yeah. Totally.
It's that splits off into two completely different conversations typically, but that's how simple it is. I mean, and I know it's a little bit different when you're cold calling people, and I'm not an expert by any means. I know you are, but I would agree that in a world where people don't like answering the phone anymore, like you cannot pick up the phone and just start selling people stuff. You've got to be insanely curious. You said that a part of your success, you started doing events and some of those other things. What are some other strategies that you use to build relationships with people? Is events one of them, or are there other things?
I used to be on the road 200 days a year. So like I was a
Mm,
road warrior, I was gone Monday through Friday doing 3 seminars a day. I did that for years, and I've done thousands of seminars in almost all 50 states just on the road. And what I discovered was I could take my same presentation that I did on the road and I could do a webinar. I could do
mm,
a Zoom. I could do an online presentation. And so I was an early adapter into that, Grant, where I was doing webinars before most people. And so what happened to me in relationships was my webinars became the most promoted webinars in the industry. So I built my business on strategic partnerships with other people promoting me, and obviously gave them something to do that. But like, everybody got value. And so, when we talk about strategic partnerships, I'm a colossal fan of that because that's how I built my business. In fact, I built 100,000 person email list in less than a year through affiliate marketing. So that list of 100,000 people, for example, was every single person I was endorsed and promoted by somebody they trusted.
right.
Right. So
Yeah.
that list still feeds me and serves me today. I mean, over 10 years, 10, 12, 13 years later.
Now, I want to pause for a second. 100,000 person list in a year
Yeah.
through affiliate partnerships. I want to unpack that for a second because
Yeah.
I've got my notebook out now. How do you do that?
You promote every week,
Yeah.
multiple affiliate promotions, finding
Yep.
partners. Every partner can promote you every month or every 60 days. So, I've found my core partners, the people with the biggest audience in real estate. And that's what I did. I also did media buys where I would go to a media company like Inman News. I've done media buys with, like, let's say an Inman or an Active Rain, where I would,
Hmm.
pay them a little money to send 3
Active
emails.
Rain. I
Remember
haven't heard
that?
that email. I haven't heard that
Yeah.
name. Active Rain. Yes,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Like they have a
That's good.
huge audience. And so,
Yeah.
different platforms out there, you can do media buys. And like, that was a big part of my growth is between affiliate marketing and media buys. I could always find the audience. And even today though, man, like I have partners that promote me today that have promoted me for, well over a decade. And
Hmm.
and like that's what I'm talking about when it comes to relationships. People that
Yeah.
constantly promote you. You're in business for over 10 years, and it's been a fruitful, impactful relationship.
We need to let me know what to send, and I'll send an email for you
Yeah,
for
for
my
sure.
audience.
I'd love to.
100%.
I'll do a media
Yeah.
buy, affiliate marketing, whatever we want to do.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people listen to this, and I've experienced it myself, is you go out and you find all of these partners, and everybody says yes. But what's the secret to the follow through on your end? Because there's a lot of people that say yes, and everybody's got the best of intentions. We always get busy. But how do you get people to follow through on the email send, et cetera, to really maximize the opportunity? Because if you're getting 100,000 leads in a year through partnerships, I mean, that's just an everyday we're grinding, we're setting up new deals, we're setting up new launches, we're setting up new things.
Two things. Number one is you have to do everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yep.
like you have to do everything. I'm
Yep.
talking about write every email, send every, tell them when to send it with the links. You have to make it really easy. Two is they have to get something out of it. Like, in the affiliate marketing world, like if you fail at one promotion and it bombs, you'll never be promoted again. Right? Like the one thing affiliates and what we do and what I do, the one thing an affiliate cares about is it translates to revenue. And if it doesn't,
100%.
it's no hard feelings,
It's
dude.
over.
Like, but it costs
Yeah,
me money.
it's
Like if
over.
I were to promote you to my list and you took up this week's promotion and you bombed and, only made me $1,000, dude. I mean, that cost me like, over 9 G's because I could have promoted myself or somebody else. So that's how it works is you have to deliver and you have to do everything for them. And so for me, that I have always been somebody, dude, that has always delivered. I've always delivered results. I've always made it easy for them to promote me. And that's the winning recipe there. I mean, if you mess any of those up, I don't know what to do.
How do you get the bigger players to take the call? I think that's something that some people struggle with. It's like, yeah, I know who the biggest person in my community is as an example, but they're busy and they're getting these calls every day. How do you stand out in those types of situations?
Well, number one, they're not getting those calls every day. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I have one of the biggest lists in real estate, and it's one of the best, and so I think about myself. I'm like, how often does somebody call me and say, "Hey, Haas, I have an offer. I want to do a partnership. Will you promote this webinar or promote this event?" And like, here's what you'll get, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a phone call like that in years, years. So there's your first hint: is pick up the damn phone and put the offer out there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe you're not like me. Maybe your phone rings off the hook with these people and these offers, but mine doesn't for whatever reason. And so I find this, Grant, that the world is very small in what I'm talking about. In real estate, for example, there's very few people that have a big, healthy audience that they have influence over, that they can, promote you. Like, I'm not talking about thousands of people here. I'm talking about 10, 20, maybe 30 people in the industry. So if you can get in with one and you can help that one person win, you can get in
Mm-hmm.
with all of them because it's just
Yeah.
math. The only thing they care about is math, and don't create a bunch of ticked off people, make my people happy. But
Right. Yeah.
as long
Got
as you
got a
can do
customer
that,
answer.
you're off
Yeah.
to the races.
What do you think is the secret to maintaining a relationship with 100,000 people for 10 years? Because that's not easy either.
The answer is consistency. So what one thing my list knows is every week of the year, they're going to get at least 3 emails from me promoting something of value to them. Whether it be a live training, whether it be an offer to download something, but like all I ever focus on is bringing value to that 100,000. Like, what can I do to help solve their problems this week? And, but here's the answer to that. I've never missed a week in over 10 years, more than that, but I've never missed a week. And that consistency is what establishes the relationship. So the answer is to send 3 to 4 emails to your list every week of
Right.
value
And don't miss.
and don't
It
miss.
seems it's the central theme. It seems like in a lot of what we're talking about with relationships and partnerships is, giving from the beginning and then never stopping. Giving value, solving problems, making people's lives better. And I think for a lot of people, they struggle with this because they're thinking about, well, this is what I need today. And they're not thinking about, well, this is what I can give today. And that mental switch, it'll change everything for you if you're willing to make the adjustment. It'll really open you up to building a large community of people that support you and support the people you put in front of them. And if you can do what Haas is talking about, it's not hard. It's well, I say that I think a lot of people struggle with consistency. It's simple. It may be hard for you. Everybody says, "Well, Grant, I'm not consistent." I say, "Well, I think you are consistent. You're just consistently doing the wrong things." Everybody's
Yeah.
consistent.
You're consistent at something.
So that usually messes people up because they're like, "Oh, I didn't think of it like that." It's like, yeah, let's
Yeah, let me talk to you about this for a
I've been
minute because
self-employed my whole life.
okay, so I started my first business as a teenager. I was making six figures as a teenager from cold calling the white pages of the phone book. You know, I've never had a formal job in my life. I had to, even to this day, like I, I, I don't eat unless I go kill. Like
Hmm.
and whether it be in commission sales or, you know, what we're talking about. So I think that the mindset of being fear based is is separating yourself from where you are now, getting out of that and getting into a mindset of look, let the chips fall where they may. Like you don't know what's going to happen in 4 weeks. You don't know, like let's take a real estate agent. If I were to ask you as a real estate agent, write down the 5 addresses of the next 5 closings you're going to have. Okay? Like what are the 5 properties that you're going to sell that will be your next 5 transactions? Bro, they couldn't give us one address because they don't know.
Hmm.
And so if you know that you don't know where your next transaction is going to come from, what you got to do is you got to condense instead of thinking month after month or year after year or every 2 weeks. Like you're thinking about the next 2 weeks. And this is an entrepreneurial mindset. You got to condense it down to day by day where you don't know where the next transactions are going to come from. You don't know what you're going to get paid this week, but by God, today, I'm going to do what I got to do in order to drive the result and let the chips fall where they may. Let tomorrow take care of themselves. I mean, it's biblical. You know, in the Bible, God said, he doesn't say, I give you your weekly bread, right? He says, what? I give you your daily bread. And he says, tomorrow's going to have its own problems. So don't worry about tomorrow. But today, you don't got to worry about not eating. I got you. And I've always taken my entrepreneurial journey and my results day by day. Like, bro, I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, but I know what I'm doing today. I'm here with Grant Wise on this podcast,
Yep.
hopefully bringing value. Like, and so I've done that I've been self-employed for 30 years. And that mindset has always saved my sanity. And like,
Hmm.
and I've never, and it's allowed me to operate stress free. Like, I just don't care, dude. I don't care about next week. I don't care about this month. I care about today. And that took years of being in the trenches to develop that, And so my advice is to condense your thoughts, condense your time down to the day. Don't even think about tomorrow. Don't think about next week. And like that will allow you to show up to every opportunity with max effort, like to every conversation that you have.
It's such a good word. It's everything that you've said. It's just spot on, and obviously you've got an amazing track record to back it up. And I can relate to it a lot. I mean, I've fed my family on my own ideas
Yeah.
since the beginning. I've had one real job, and I thought it was pointless. I quit after a month.
Yeah.
It couldn't justify. I've had to get up and hunt every day, and I would agree. Taking it day by day, thinking what can I give to this day instead of what can I take from it. What can I give to people instead of what can I take from them. And I think you just wake up with that attitude and you try to help as many people in a day as you possibly can. Things are going to work out.
Yeah.
Things are
And
going
the
to work
other
out.
thing too, Grant, I think what has made both of us successful in this industry is our ability to create things and our
Yeah.
ability to create opportunity. I know for me, I know both of us, we've had to create every opportunity that we stepped into. And that's a mindset too, is understanding that you can create opportunity out of thin air. Like I don't know what I'm going to be selling in 6 months. I don't know where I'm going to be selling in a year, but I never have. I just know that at the time I will create the next opportunity for me and my people. And and I know for me and what I do, I have to constantly be creating that opportunity, and instead of waiting for the opportunity to come to me. And I think that that's where a lot of people get wrong, is they wait for opportunity to come to them instead of creating the opportunity. Kind of like, why is my phone not ringing with somebody asking me, "Hey Hoss, will you
I
promote
was
me
just
to your
getting ready.
list?"
I was
Like,
literally just thinking that I'm going to call you as soon as we're done because I got an offer. Your phone's not ringing off the hook. I'll call you. I got something for you.
like, that's creating opportunity. I'll give you
Of
an
course.
example of this. I'm writing a book right now, and um, and in the book, I'm telling the story of how I got started in the seminar business. And so this is back in the crash of 2008, and and I wanted to travel the country and speak. But the problem was I didn't have a product to sell. And so if speakers don't make money off speaking fees, they make money from selling something from the stage. So what I had to do is I had to have a product. And this was before I created Listing Boss and AI Boss and all of my dozens of courses, right? But like, I didn't have a product. So what I did to get started as a speaker and trainer in the industry is I found a guy that had a product. And I followed this guy for years. He's no longer with us. He passed away, but I early on I went to whitepages.com and I typed in his name, and he was in Denver, and I look up all of his name in Denver, and there was like 5 or 6 of them. And I called all 5 or 6 of those people and I said, "Hey, this is Haas. I'm going to be, if you're the real estate trainer, like, I'm going to be traveling the country doing seminars, and I'd like to sell your product, and I'll pay you 50-50. So if you're open to the opportunity, reach out to me, let me know." And like, that's how I started, bro. He calls me back and goes, "I'll do that deal." And I sold his product 200 days a year I was on the road. It wasn't my own product because I didn't have it. It was his,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
That's awesome.
he didn't come to me and say, "Hey, will you sell my product for 50-50?" I had to go to him and create the opportunity. And that is what I do, is I create the opportunity. I see it, I make the call, and I create it. And if he said no, I'd call you. I'd call somebody else,
Yeah.
like, somebody is going to do the deal.
It's 100% somebody would. That's what everybody's dream is. Oh, you're going to go out and sell my product?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that deal. There's a lot of people. I don't think if you're listening to this, the essence of the message is really simple. Create your own opportunity.
Yes.
If you open up your mind, I think you would be blown away to how many opportunities there are out there like that, especially now. Back in the day when you were doing it, there wasn't that many people doing stuff
Yeah.
like that, but now it's everywhere. Man, this has been an amazing conversation. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you spending some time with us today. I always like to ask this last question: is how can we, as listeners of the podcast, partner with you? What's important to you right now? How can we walk alongside and support what you got going on?
Man, I would love to work with you. If you have an audience and you have a list, and you're looking to promote something, I'd like for you to be like I was when I started. It's funny, Grant, how many people have picked up the phone and called me and made that same phone call in 20 years? The answer is
Very true.
zero. Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. So
Yeah.
the opportunities are endless. And so what I would like to do is, if your listeners are somebody that, is looking for a partner to help them bring value to their audience and their list, like, I'd love to talk to them. They can email me at haas@haaspratt.com. We'll set up a strategy call. I'll show you what I can do to help you. If you're a real estate agent and you're, listening to this and you're like, "Where do I start?" You can go to haaspratt.com and download a free business plan that will walk you through. It'll reverse engineer what your goal is, and it will give you the steps exactly to take in order to accomplish the goal. So it's a free gift. It's the ultimate business plan. You can get it at haaspratt.com.
Awesome, man. We'll make sure that we link up all the ways that people can connect with you and take action on that. Highly encourage you, if you listen to this, connect with Haas. He is a boss, which is why all of this stuff is branded that way. And definitely just the results speak for himself. So definitely reach out to Haas, connect with him. And man, I can't, again, thank you enough for spending some time with us today. This is awesome.
Thanks, brother, man. And I mean what I say. You're one of the greatest in the industry. Everybody here is lucky
I
to be
appreciate
in
that.
your community.
I really genuinely appreciate that. I really do. Thank you all. Thank you again, Haas. Thank you all for continuing to listen to the Partner and Profit podcast. We will see you on the next episode. Peace.